Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here with finally Brew Review 175. Unfortunately last Friday I got called into work, but nonetheless I am here with the Omer Brut Nature, and as promised, after tasting and reviewing this beer, which has been aging for almost 3 years in my cellar, yeah, I'm giving away one of these bottles as well, so stay tuned. Now, what can I tell you about this beer? Like I said in last brewery breakdown, this beer was developed by the 5th generation of Omer brewers, namely Omer Géry. And the number 5 for the 5th generation is actually rather present in this beer. Now, of course, we've had Omer, Omer Jean, Omer Remy, Omer Remy, and Omer Géry. Those were 5 generations of brewers, not necessarily 5 generations of Vander Ghinste, because actually Remy, the father of Omer, bought the brewery, so we could argue that there are 6, but nonetheless 5 Omers. What else is special about this beer? It has been brewed with 5 different kinds of hops, 3 during the brewing step and 2 for dry hopping, and I can imagine that those 3 during the brewing were 2 bitter hops and 1 aroma hop. What else can I tell you? Well, it does age for 5 years. So I've had this in the cellar for 3 years. I've had one when it was, quite new. But they promise a taste evolution for 5 years. Now I can imagine that this will hold longer in the cellar, but after about 5 years, the taste evolution should be finished. I would love to tell you that the brewing of this beer with dry hopping and lager time is 5 months, but it is 3 months. And another thing that is very special about this beer is that it is brewed, well, a base beer, not really a regular Omer, but based on the regular Omer. But then it is re-fermented in the bottle with a wild yeast, with a Brettanomyces instead of a Saccharomyces. What does that do? Well, it brings out a lot of new flavors, a lot of new esters. Brettanomyces yeast produces a lot of different aromas as opposed to the Saccharomyces. Think about Yeast, think about Orval, think about all those bread beers that you know by now. Let's see what the bottle can tell us, and then we will be tasting it. Okay, so at Omer they are kind enough to not only print their bottle in Dutch or Flemish and French, but also in English, so I don't have to translate on the spot here. Omer Brut Nature is a copper-colored brut-style beer. The use of wild yeast or bread, Brettanomyces, results in a pleasantly dry, low-sugar, living beer, which evolves in the bottle and can be aged for at least 5 years. 5 different hops are used in the beer, with dry hopping techniques reinforcing their fruity and spicy character. It results in a dry, bitter beer with a delicate aftertaste. Omer Brut Nature is the product of a 5 generations long brewing tradition where both the name Omer along with the world-class brewing techniques are passed down from father to son. So actually, I could have just read the bottle and you would have known everything I have to say about this beer. A lot of detail went into this beer, as well for the brewing as for the marketing, the presence. Look at this lovely well-rounded bottle, let's say, a muselet with the family crest, I should say. This is actually like a stained glass window with the M very predominantly put in there. So I am very eager to try this. It's been 3 years since I've had one of these, so it will have evolved a lot. Omer Brut Nature, 5 hops, 5 generations, 5 years. Let's open this puppy up and hope that it won't gush all over. Now I did put it rather cold. so that minimizes the chance for gushing. Ooh, not entirely what I expected, but nonetheless very pleasant, actually better than I expected. Lovely vapor. Now, much to my disgrace, I don't have the Omer glass. I actually gave a limited edition Omer glass to my dad because he's an Omer fanatic. And I kind of forgot that I don't have one left for myself. So I'm using my trusty taste glasses, my Cervoise. Look at how lovely that is. They did promise us a lovely copper blonde beer. I would call that copper. You might argue where copper ends and where amber starts, but yeah. Ooh, lovely scent, very citrusy. Now, right off the bat, like I said, it is quite coppery amber color. It is very, very active. You should see that swirl in there. It's like a huge vortex. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. Lovely color as well, absolutely beautiful. Some off-white beige-ish foam with like very tiny bubbles, but that is also part of a Brut beer. Comes from the Champagne region. Well, not the beer, the name I mean. And Brut is actually used for a dry, rather sweet, soft, sour, dry champagne, but it also refers to a champagne-like beer. So in this case, just like champagne, it has very tiny, tiny, tiny bubbles. Absolutely lovely. And I know I'm repeating, but a lot of foam, very dense, very tiny bubbles. Now, as far as the scent goes, I can imagine that this doesn't smell as it tastes, in that way that it smells quite citrusy, very refreshing, very young, very fresh. But like I said, this is the 2020, the limited edition first brew. It has been sitting in my cellar for about 3 years now, so not that fresh. Does have that typical bread scent. I don't mean morning bread, but yeah, very aromatic, slightly herbal, slightly spicy, and a bit citrusy, but still bitter and dry. And not aggressive at all, so not harsh. Yeah, it's not all in your face. So let's have a taste. Cheers. Okay, again, not entirely what I expected, but absolutely a very pleasant experience. Now I must say that I put this quite cold. It will be around 5-6-ish degrees. Nonetheless, very refreshing, very active, a lot of bubbling, a lot of bubbles popping in the mouth. So very active, very, like I said, refreshing, slightly citrusy, but I get a lot of herbal hints. Actually getting a bit of rosemary and thyme in there. I am getting that, of course, that typical breath side taste. It is quite dry, it is very bitter, it is absolutely not sweet. All the leftover sugars have been fermented into ethanol and yeah, that CO2 and some lovely aromas. Now I do believe this is a 7% ABV. Yeah, 7%. Now we did say that it is re-fermented in the bottle and it has evolution. So this might be 7.1, 7.2. Of course, this is not going to be a 9%er. That doesn't happen in the bottle. Honestly, I think the best way to describe this is imagine if Orval would make a triple and then dry hop it with some citrusy hops. And I think that, well, I mean that as a huge compliment. You guys know that I absolutely adore Orval. We will be making a video about those as well. I think I have like 3 or 4 crates in my cellar standard. So whenever you come visit me, you know what you can ask. But this is absolutely beautiful, well brewed, well worth the wait. Actually, not that expensive. I think I bought them back in the day for like 11 euros a bottle. I think now, if you can still find them, you will be paying somewhere between 30 and 50 euros per bottle, depending on where you get them. But of course, you can get one for free right here. Awesome. Honestly, it does have a rather thin mouthfeel, but not in a disturbing way, actually in a very pleasant way. So this is a whole lot refreshing. And I also love the aftertaste. So it is a very bitter, dry aftertaste with that herbal side taste, like that Brettanomyces side taste. Like I said, a bit of rosemary, a bit of thyme, slightly vegetal, but not in a bad way. So yeah, very, very pleasant. Absolutely love it. So let's talk shop. How can you guys get one of these beers, one of these bottles, I mean? Actually, let's go over to Instagram, because I don't really have control about who follows me here. A lot of people follow me anonymously, so I cannot get you guys your bottle if you follow me anonymously. So let's head over to Instagram at the Belgian Beer Brothers, or the Belgian Beer Brothers channel, and I'll put up a post there. Let's say you guys follow me on Instagram, follow me here, comment on that post with 2 of your friends who you're gonna share the bottle with, and in a few weeks I'll have a raffle. I'll just put all your names in a hat, pull one out, and you will get that beer. Of course, then I will have to contact you. You will have to give me your address. I have looked into shipping overseas. That won't be cheap, that won't be easy, but I will do my absolute best to package this thing in an unbreakable manner and then ship it to you wherever you are in the world. I'm so gonna regret this. So far for the contest, so I will put up a Instagram post later tonight about this, and yeah, good luck to all of you. Of course, maybe if someone here in Belgium or Holland, or well, not too far from here, wins the bottle, I might deliver it in person. But if you guys are overseas, yeah, I'll have to ship it. Then we have one thing left for this video, and that is scoring our Omer Brut Nature. Yeah, I am gonna give this 4.5 out of 5, so a 9 out of 10. I love this beer, I love this style. It is very well brewed. It has aged beautifully, but you might find that out for yourselves. Yeah, this is like 5 generations of know-how, and 1 generation of, or actually 2 or 3 generations of research and development and market research. So yeah, these guys know what they're doing. I'm gonna leave it at that. Cheers, you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow or the day after at 6 p.m. Cheers.